Triggers. We all experience them. And many people wonder why, where do they come from, and why can't we just effort our way past them? And while some progress is made, just putting our nose to the grindstone and pushing over triggers, ultimately they end up coming back. Why? Because they're rooted in the subconscious mind. Our subconscious is created in our early childhood memories and moments, often memories we don't even remember and can't access it unless we regress back to the root. So if you experience triggers of anger or fear or feeling unworthy, in situations where it's confusing, you're not sure why you're feeling those feelings, or you can connect the dots but can't get past it, the source is in the subconscious. And so what RTT therapy allows you to do is to go back in time and to go back into those moments where those triggers were created. And what's interesting is that it's not always what you think it would be. Often, if you're experiencing triggers in a relationship, it goes back to a moment in time where you didn't feel safe, but you were only 3 or 4 at the time. And so what in that going back in that scene, it's like this little girl was feeling fear because she was alone on a swing and couldn't get off and was calling and calling for help, and no one came to rescue her. And finally, the swing slowed down enough for her to feel safe to get off. But she was so worked up and so scared. And that fear then shows up in her relationship with her husband, because when in situations where he's not around to help her in the way that she feels like she needs it, she feels that sense of abandonment that comes back. And so what we need to do is go back into that original scene and heal that scene and give that little girl that safety and that comfort that she really truly needed, so that in her adult life, in her relationships, that trigger is no longer there. She can remember having it, but the feeling of abandonment, the panic, no longer shows up. And she's able to work past moments. She's able to speak up for herself and create boundaries, but also that trigger is released. And so what RTT allows you to do is release that trapped emotion so that you're no longer being held captive by these emotional triggers.